Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for joining me today for a favorites video, as I'm sure you could tell by the title. Is this where they're putting the title these days? You would think I would know this. I don't know. Either who, let's talk about some favorites. It's been a few months since I've talked about favorites because, and I mentioned this in a recent video, I'd kind of fallen into a rut using a lot of the same products, and while I really love them, there's no sense in making a video all about them because I've talked about them over. Like, there's only so much I can tell you how much I love my, Rare Beauty foundation and concealer and like all those sorts of products. So I finally added some new products and even techniques to my routine. Some of it coming from that drugstore video actually, and also some new products that I have here to talk about. But either way, we got a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I have a new dry shampoo that I've been loving, and clearly I leaned on it heavily today and just have been in general. I used to use the Drybar, and I still do off and on kind of because I stockpiled a lot of cans, so it's constantly in rotation, the Drybar Tinted Dry Shampoo, but I have started working this in more frequently, the Not Your Mother's Clean Freak Tapioca Dry Shampoo, but the one you have to get, listen up, is the warm sugar fragrance one. I accidentally picked this up. There were two on the shelf and I didn't realize there were like a non-scented or a lightly scented one, and then the one that's warm sugar. The warm sugar is like a holiday in a can. It actually reminds me of one of my favorite candles that I like to burn really all the time, but especially during the holidays. Actually, it's burning right there by my fragrances. Probably should. Candle safety, people. That is also a current favorite, well, really an all-the-time favorite, but especially during the holidays, from the brand Orleans, and it's in the scent Creme Brulee. This smells very much like that. Now, it is very strong, so if you are sensitive to scents and fragrances, it might not be for you. I was actually, it's easily the most strongly scented dry shampoo I've ever smelled, but because the scent is so pleasant to me, I will wear it in my hair, I'll wear it as perfume, I'll spray my bed sheets with it, frankly. It's so good. Next, let's talk foundation. So this is what I used in that recent drugstore video I mentioned earlier, and it's the Revlon Colorstay Full Coverage Foundation. Mine is in the shade 210 or Sand Beige, and this is a matte foundation, which for me is kind of counterintuitive, especially in the winter months. I've gotten to where I like really glowy skin year round, but I was perusing drugstore aisles a month, maybe two even back, and I saw that they had kind of redone this and thought, why not? Let's add a little bit of variety, a little spice in there. So I picked it up and slowly but surely started to use it, and I really like it. The thing is though, I've actually adopted a different technique to applying it though, because sometimes, especially because it's in the winter months and it's starting to cool, my skin's getting drier, and just with age, I've started developing more overall dry skin as opposed to the combo skin that I've had before. Still acne prone, which is just weird, but that's life, I guess. But when it's drier out and I notice my skin getting drier, and I want to use a matte foundation, but I don't want to go too heavy where it can get a little bit heavy looking, heavy feeling, crepey looking and feeling, what I started doing is priming my skin with a mist. This is just one that I had sitting up here. Pop Beauty sent this to me. It's their Makeup Magnet Mist Setting Mist. You can use whatever you have, just as long as it's hydrating and not mattifying like a Huda Beauty Resting Boss face that will really like set everything on your face. Get something that's a little bit more light and watery. I prime my face with that. Then I go in with a brush that I normally hate using with foundation. This is a Delium Tools 948 brush, and I put a little bit, well, a fair amount of this on the back of my hand, and I actually go in with this kind of brush to it's more of a spot application. I eventually put it all over my face, but rather than taking a sort of bigger, like larger kabuki brush that I would normally like to apply my foundation with, I start in light little layers, like in my under eye area, on blemishes, places where I know I want more coverage, and I really blend and build from there. So like I said, I ultimately get a full face of coverage, but it ends up looking overall lighter because I've focused most of that coverage where I really need it. I haven't liked these in the past because when I go for my normal, even coverage everywhere technique, this leaves streaks. And so naturally, when you're really heavying up the foundation everywhere, you're going to see more brush strokes. But when, at least I find, when I use this technique and I just pat and layer in the places that I need it and then blend everywhere else, this is actually kind of a dream brush, so who knew? Oh, and the other thing that I've been loving to really make sure my skin is hydrated, especially if I'm going in for a matte foundation like that, is my Sidoni Beauty Vitamin C Serum. I'm actually on my second bottle of this. I love it so much. I mean, it is a petite bottle, but a little bit of this goes a long way. It's like so thick and slippery, but it doesn't sit on top of your skin. My skin just drinks it up. It helps with any hyperpigmentation and skin unevenness while also leaving my skin feeling like buttery, soft, and smooth and hydrated, especially under my makeup. I love this stuff. Now, the last thing that I've really been loving and using consistently over these past few weeks have been cream, blush, bronze, and highlighters from the brand Salt New York. I think I saw Samantha Ravindal mention this a few weeks back, and ever since then they sold. A couple of other content creators mentioned them, and I think that's why they completely sold out. I placed this order probably 2, maybe even 3 months ago at this point, and they were so back ordered that it took them until mid-October to ship. And so it really has only been the past month that I've been able to get into these. But basically they are these magnetic cream palettes, and they actually have this case as well. They have this case in a couple of different colors, but I think at the time I ordered, black was the only one that they had. Either way, it comes with this really beautiful looking clutch carrying case that is optional. And then they have quite an extensive range of cream, bronzers, blushes, and highlighters. And I think there is a discount or some sort of bundle deal when you bundle them into groups of 6, which is why I did this. The bronzer that I have, or 2 bronzer shades that I have, is light medium, which is a pretty good match for me right now. It's a good shade match for me on a more natural day when I don't want severe or dramatic looking contour and bronzer, whereas the medium is a good summer shade for me right now. And actually, as I'm wearing these right now, I have a mixture of the 2, medium and light medium, on my face today. Then the blushes that I picked up, one is this beautiful berry shade. It's called Raspberry, and the other is more of a hot coral shade. This one, it's called Coral, appropriately enough. And then of the 2 highlighters that I have, one is a beautiful bronzy highlighter, or a gold, since it is called gold. And then the other is more of a light champagne called Beige. And I have to say, these really live up to the hype. As I was waiting for them, when something takes forever, it feels like it takes forever to come to you and you're building it up in your mind, I had gotten to the point where I thought, there's no way these are worth it. There is no way that these cream products are any better than any other cream product out there. And I'm really pleased to say that they are actually super fantastic products. They truly are a cream to powder formula. So yes, they glide on, they don't dry out your skin or cling to dry patches like a powder might, and yet they do dry down so they don't remain tacky on your skin like some cream or balm type products can. So you get the benefit and the hydration of a cream product, but it's not going to mess with your makeup in the same way that a lot of other cream products can out there. And just the way that cream products tend to blend into the skin, it looks a little bit more natural and skin-like. You really get that benefit with these as well, even though they completely dry down. Another thing to note about these is that unlike a lot of other cream products, the color doesn't disappear into your skin. I've worn a lot of cream products before where you really have to layer them up. Otherwise, as you wear it throughout the day, the color just disappears from your face. It's like, where does it go? You know what I mean? And that's not the case at all with these. And I learned that the hard way because the other day I put some on and then I was out and about, grocery shopping or whatever, and I caught my reflection in a mirror and I was like, oh, too much. We applied way too much cream. It was supposed to disappear throughout the day and it definitely didn't. So I just ended up with a shock of bright blush on my cheeks. The good news is, it doesn't disappear into your skin. They are highly, highly pigmented cream products, and they do dry down into a powder. This ended up really being a mini review for these Salt New York cream products, but I hadn't mentioned them before, so I felt like I needed to go into a little bit more detail so you understood where I was coming from. But either way, I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to know what products you have been loving lately. I would like to do I kind of like last year, I don't really want to do like a best of 2020 because I've tried and liked a lot of products throughout the year, but none of them really feel like they belong in all-time 2020 favorites category. You know what I mean? It feels like such a big title that I really only want to reserve that slot for absolute game changers, just like I did in last year's video. So I'm kind of building my list for those things. There have been some really sneaky but truly routine changing products that I have used. So I guess there's kind of a 2020 wrap up video coming, you could say. Either way, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.